So Teofimo Lopez put this post out on X. It says here, to His Excellency Turki Al-Sheikh, I take full responsibility for my inappropriate words on the X app. I publicly apologize to HE. I will conduct myself with greater respect, humility, and professionalism. Sending love and light to all. Thank you. Hashtag boxing, hashtag make boxing great again. It's very similar to what we saw from Shakur Stevenson, because he had a few digs at Turki Al-Sheikh and in very short order issued an apology. I think it was within a day or two. So yeah, same from Teofimo Lopez here. Will it be enough to salvage the Devin Haney fight? I hope it is. That's a fight that I want to see. That's a fight that needs to happen for the generation. These guys, Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, Ryan Garcia, they're all around the same age. They're supposed to be fighting each other. But so far, we haven't really seen the kind of round robin between these guys that we would have hoped for. And you could even throw Shakur Stevenson and Tank Davis in the mix as well. I know they're the division below, but there's no reason why they shouldn't get involved. There's only one weight division up. Tank ain't going to do it, obviously, because, well, you guys know what he's like. Shakur Stevenson, on the other hand, may well get involved if he gets past his next bout. We shall see. But what do you guys make of this? Teofimo Lopez apologizing to Turki Al-Sheikh. Do you think the Devin Haney fight can be salvaged? Big up Mr. Luca, big up Black Dynamite. He says, I think Turki is wasting his money with the lower divisions. You might have a point there. You might have a point there, especially after the horrific flop that was the Times Square card. That was a shocker. After those guys did what they did, and even Canelo's performance, right, against William Skull. After those guys disappointed in that way, maybe he should forget about those weight classes until fighters pop up who are delivering excitement consistently. Like Inoue, for example. He's delivering excitement every time he steps out. So that's one of the lighter weight classes where Turki might want to prioritize, right? The media has spoken about Turki bringing meritocracy to boxing. The people who deserve an opportunity based upon the way they perform get the opportunities. Okay, this idea. Well, you could extend this to weight classes, couldn't you? You could say, since the 140-pounders are not performing the way that we want them to, then perhaps we'll skip over them. Perhaps we won't offer them opportunities until they stop messing around and give us some excitement in the ring. The heavyweight division has delivered time and time again in that regard. So it makes sense to prioritize the heavyweight division. The cruiserweight division has delivered as well. The cruiserweight division, let me tell you something. The cruiserweight division has been one of the best value divisions for years. Years and years and years. Never mind that we aren't seeing the big unifications at cruiserweight right now since Usyk moved up. When I say never mind, obviously I'd like to see them. But the point I'm making is, even without the big unifications at cruiserweight, champions defended against challengers are still producing good fights. Just look at Jai Opetaya's recent fights. They've produced excitement. He's at least taken people out. And there's been good fights between contenders as well at cruiserweight. The cruiserweight division has been delivering for years, particularly in the World Boxing Super Series era. Really delivered then. But even since that time, it keeps delivering good competitive fights, knockouts, drama, and so on. Shout out to Matt for the super chat. He says, Jai Opetaya versus Zurdo Ramirez should be happening right now. What the hell is up with these constant tune-ups? We're going to get another Caleb Plant. I completely agree with you. The hold-up appears to be on Ramirez's side. Jai Opetaya wants all the smoke and he wants it right now. Ramirez is obviously a golden boy fighter. They're trying to maybe pick up the other belts before trying to square it with Opetaya because they know that he's the most dangerous guy. So, Zurdo Ramirez is a good fighter, but he's being maneuvered very carefully at the moment. Ramirez, I suspect, will try to unify with Badou Jack. If he's successful there, then we may get to see the Jai Opetaya fight. And Turki will almost certainly have to get involved because having 3 belts, and realistically, let's just be real here, Ramirez is probably the bigger draw, isn't he? Especially if he's got 3 belts. He's probably the bigger draw than Opetaya. So he's going to want the lion's share. And with 3 belts, it'd be hard to deny him the lion's share. Will Jai Opetaya be willing to do that? I suspect he will be. We'll wait and see what happens with that situation. But it is frustrating that we haven't seen a unification yet. But in the meantime, the champions are still getting it in. I mean, Jai Opetaya's fight against David Naika, that was a hell of a slugfest for 4 rounds. Was that not entertaining? So even though people are complaining that Opetaya isn't fighting the highest level opposition, I mean, he did fight Myris Breedis again, but in between the Myris Breedises of the world, he is demolishing people. And that's what you want to see. You want to see a champion go in there and get B-level fighters out of there, or even C-level fighters. And Opetaya is delivering on that front. It's like when Mike Tyson was heavyweight champion. Not to say Jai Opetaya is in the same league as Mike Tyson, but just giving you a comparison. When Mike Tyson was heavyweight champion during the 80s, it wasn't the strongest division in history, folks. It was a relatively weak heavyweight division. That's not to say there weren't any talented fighters, because there were some, quite a few actually, but most of them were coming to the end by the time Mike Tyson came along, and several of them had serious substance abuse problems. People like Pinklon Thomas, for example. Tyrell Biggs, another one. Tony Tucker, etc., etc. So it wasn't the strongest division, but Mike Tyson did what you would expect an all-time great fighter to do against the opposition he had in front of him. He destroyed him up until he got to Buster Douglas. That was his 10th defense. All right, so 10 world title fights, including the night he beat Trevor Berbick when he won the WBC heavyweight title, becoming the youngest man to ever capture a version of the heavyweight title in history. So, he dealt with his opposition the way you would expect him to, the way you would want him to, in an exciting way. And that's what Jai Opetaya is doing at Cruiserweight at the moment. He's been, let's be real, frozen out by the other champions. Chris Billam-Smith wasn't in a rush to fight him. Zerdo Ramirez isn't in a rush to fight him. But in the meantime, he's giving us some thrills, particularly that David Naika fight. And again, this speaks to the nature of the Cruiserweight division, whereby it takes 2 to tango. And these guys, at least in the case of Naika, are turning up to give it a go. A lot of people have criticized the fact that Opetaya was taken the distance by Breedis. Breedis has never been down in a fight. So I don't know why that would be a black mark against Opetaya's record. Breedis has never been down. He's always been a great puncher. He's physically strong. And he hasn't shown any signs that he's washed up. Not at his best anymore, for sure. Definitely not at his best anymore. But again, from what I've seen over the past few years, there's no signs that he's washed up. There's no signs that he's a shot fighter.